Welcome to St Helens Central Station.
Images from near and far, travel there by train or car. These are the Maythorn moments.
The murals on the station footbridge show you what's in the Museum of Road Transport, just a few minutes walk from the station. As well as going into the museum itself, you can ride on one of the vintage buses, which will take you around the area.
Images from near and far, travel there by train or car. These are the Maythorn moments.
Rolling down the open road, cars and buses are the mode. Speeding down the metal track, take the train and just relax. Speeding through the countryside, just sit back, enjoy the ride. The perfect way to take a break, sipping coffee, eating cake. In our video we will show where it is the old cars go. On the scrapyard you can see them, some end up in a museum. It's also in another class. St Helens is the place to roam, where bus and coach have made their home. This transport collection is the best, renowned throughout the great Northwest. Travel here from round the nation and take a short walk from the station. Ships. Enjoy the ride is what we say. Come join us on a Travel Tuesday.
I find that when different people go around a transport museum, they find different things that jog memories with them. I remember this electric bus in Birkenhead that used to run a shuttle service between the Woodside Ferry and the central bus station. As far as I can remember, it was free, and of course it's very eco-friendly, and it's a pity they didn't keep this sort of thing going. You can go inside some of the exhibits, and this tram is no exception. It appears that even people who couldn't possibly remember trams are interested in getting in the cab.
At any time of day.
and satisfy the travel blues. Oh, ooh, we just put on our coat and shoes and satisfy the travel blues. Oh,
Next stop, Ilkley in Yorkshire, and there's a transport interchange here. You can see from the station platform that the bus station is right behind the fence. The station buildings are incorporated into some shops and cafes. You can probably see Marks and Spencer's and also the ticket office, which isn't a ticket office, it's the station cafe. A lot of outside seating here. I wasn't amongst the people sitting outside. It was cold that wintry day and I was inside. But there are a lot of brave people here. The Yorkshire people are tough, you know. This station is on the West Yorkshire Metro system, and the trains in use are Class 333s, and to me they're one of the finest multiple units that I've seen in Metro use. They've been here for over 20 years, and unlike other Metro services, they're equipped to a high standard and they have proper toilets on board. Now there's a thing. I came today by bus. The 64 will take me back to Skipton, and there we'll have a closer look at the Class 333s and take the train from there to Leeds. The videos on the journey from Skipton into Leeds were taken on a different and more sunny day, and you can see a bright interior in the train all the way through. The bike racks are vertical, which was interesting compared with other trains I've travelled on, and it seems to be a little difficult for people to get their bikes in and out of these racks. I hope he gets it out soon because people are waiting for their food.
Buses, trains and planes. It's a Maythorn journey.
This journey was from Liverpool Lime Street to London Euston on this Class 805. I haven't been on one of these before either. That was a very pleasant journey indeed. And then I got the tube over to Paddington in order to travel on the Heathrow Express. I hadn't been on the Elizabeth line before either, so this was a new experience for me. It enabled me to get down to the Heathrow Express, again, a new experience for me. I'd always gone the long route on an ordinary tube before now. My journey to Heathrow was to meet a granddaughter who was moving back to the UK for good from Perth in Australia, and she needed help with her baggage and getting back up north to Chester. It gave me a few hours to spare at Heathrow, and I was able to have a bit of a look around and to see the various buses and other vehicles that service the area. The plane was coming in on Terminal 3, so there's also some views of the inside of that. So that's nearly it for our transport spot for the month, and this time it's been trains and planes, but we have one more train to show you. This is the last of our Class 507 Merseyrail trains from the 70s being taken away. The train that's being preserved is the back three coaches of this set, the ones that are in their original livery. We've covered this story a bit over the last 6 months. The train finally made its way down to Derby via Newport. So this is the train leaving Birkenhead North and going through Bidston Station down to Newport. And I've got to own up here, I didn't get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to film this. There are loads of videos on YouTube of the departure, and I've just picked on one of them. I've also found a video that somebody took down in Newport where it arrived there, and it's taken into what looks like a secure lock-up facility for the night before making the rest of its journey by road. So the front 3 coaches are going to be scrapped when they arrive here, and hopefully they won't make a mistake and scrap the wrong half of the train, because the enthusiasts like me have bought the 001 train for £1, and we're having it taken to Derby by road, albeit by a bit of a long route and a weekend stopover. But it finally arrives in Derby for its part in the Rail 200 celebrations, which are taking place all over this year at different places throughout the UK. We'll be going to the Derby venue because that's where our Merseyrail train's going to be. That will take place in August, and they haven't issued the tickets yet, so fingers crossed that we can get some.
Images from near and far, travel there by train or car. These are the Maythorn moments. Images from near and far, travel there by train or car. These are the Maythorn moments. Welcome to the Maythorn Show. Let's start it on the radio. Brian Smart has come so far since video killed the radio star.
Last time we were in Russo, we came across this statue down by the river, and we reckon this guy has got some of the best views of the area that you can get. So if you want to live here, just look across the road, because they're building some flats just there.
Brian Smart shows you so much, so turn the volume up a touch. Where we're going you'll soon know by watching for our weekly show.
I think if I was able to start again with a place to live in Bulgaria, this could well be the place, because as you get older you don't really want to be driving around in a car, and you need to keep fit and do a lot of walking. And this area here is a great leisure area with the river and the open spaces and the proximity to restaurants and bars and things.
Brian Smart shows you so much, so turn the volume up a touch. Where we're going you'll soon know by watching for our weekly show. By watching for our weekly show. By watching for our weekly show.
We're making a bit of a fuss at the moment about our weekly shows because there are a lot of people who just watch the Maythorn monthly, and we thought we should draw some attention to the fact that we do put out a video every week on a Tuesday.
We travel on a Tuesday at the any time of day. Maybe on a Friday it's really Thursdays, just to put on the coolest shoes and satisfy the travel blues.
So here's the drone flying by Otley Bridge. They say Otley Bridge was built between the two sides for trade originally, centuries ago. In the 20th century they added a walkway for foot passengers, I was going to say, for
for pedestrians because it got even busier. It still exists to this day. It's an old bridge and it's my gateway into the town centre where I'm going to get a bus. It's market day. There are 3 market days in Otley, so you'll see a bit of the market and some of the other things that make excuse me, some of the other things that make it interesting looking around Otley. By gum, we're in Yorkshire.
Although it's on a much smaller scale, Otley Bridge is in the middle of an area where there is parkland by the side of the river, and so a bit like Roosa, you can go for walks. This is a place where you can take your dogs, and there's some facilities for the children to play as well. There's a statue here of Thomas Chippendale. No, he's not a Chippendale who took his clothes off. Thomas Chippendale is Otley's famous son, and was born in Otley in 1718, and he's celebrated as Britain's greatest furniture maker. You can't get the wood, you know. When I got off the bus in Otley, I didn't have any specific plans. I was going to go and have a look at the river because I like rivers, but I also needed some lunch, and I turned to my Greggs app on my phone, and it took me to the Greggs that was right in the middle of the market, so it seemed rude not to explore it. And I found myself in a quaint little town with lots of old stone buildings and a really pleasant atmosphere. One of the interesting things here is a Grade 2 listed monument, which is a stone scale model of the Bramhope Tunnel in West Yorkshire. It's actually there as a memorial to the railway workers who died while they were building the tunnel. So after spending a few hours in this nice little place, and I will certainly recommend it to you, I went back to the bus station. Yes, Otley is very well connected by bus, and I could head back to Skipton or Leeds or anywhere convenient.
Well, you come to Yorkshire and you get some bad weather, some even worse weather. It rains, it snows, and then just suddenly it's sunshine. Time to get out the camera. And I'm in Bramley. This is the walled garden in Bramley Park. I come to Bramley because I've got a flat just over there that I rent out, and the water system is leaking, so I've had to come over and see to that. But of course, I come to Yorkshire quite a lot, and it seems to me that a lot of the places I go end in L-E-Y, not just Bramley. There was Otley, and there was Ilkley, and so on. So these are the places I come to see in Yorkshire, as long as it ends in L-E-Y.
Ooh, we just put on our cotton shoes and satisfy the travel blues. Oh, yeah.
I must admit I was quite disappointed in a look round the flat, because I only normally come here once a year to sign the tenant up for another 12 months, and I take it for granted that the maintenance company are doing what they say they're doing. They sent us another big invoice last year for new carpets. I've just been right round the building, right up to the top floor. I cannot see any new carpets. That we get billed for cleaning, yet I can't see that the carpets have even been cleaned. The gardener, no, it doesn't seem to have done much. There's not really any garden to do. So just what are we paying for?
One final destination, and guess what? We've got another river for you.
Well, I woke up this morning
The blues was in my head. You know I wanna travel, so I must get out of bed. We travel on a Tuesday, at any time of day, or maybe on a Friday. It's really hard to say. We just put on a coat and shoes and satisfy the travel blues.
We're by the River Dee, and Chester's Grosvenor Park overlooks the river, and it has this little miniature railway in it.
But when I woke up this morning, the blues was in my head. You know I wanna travel, so I must get out of bed. We travel on a Tuesday, at any time of day, or maybe on a Friday. It's really hard to say. We just put on our coat and shoes and satisfy the travel blues. Welcome to the world, from Liverpool to Chester, or somewhere in the middle. Be sure to spend your leisure time by visiting the Wirral. From lots of places to relax, all within easy reach. So let us take you right away to grassy Hoylake Beach. Welcome to the Wirral. Welcome to the Wirral.
I've had a few people asking how the AI stuff is done on my videos, and I've actually explained one or two little things in the past. A bit more now, using PowerDirector 365, which is the software that I use for video editing, and the normal box version that you would buy in the traditional manner. The Ultimate Edition is $109.99, the 2025 edition. But I'm subscribing to PD 365. PowerDirector 365 is a monthly subscription, and it works out under £50 a year. And every month they add credits for you to generate your own AI stuff, and you do it within their software. Firstly, let's look at the tool that generates an image for you. I've used this a couple of times, and it's had okay results. So this is the interface. You type in a description of what you want to see. You choose a theme or a template, whatever you like to call it, from those little pictures at the bottom there, and then you just click generate, and it will create 4 images for you of what you've asked for. You can see that the pictures actually have a look about them which came from the original image that I clicked on in the square on the left. So as I said, the look comes from the image you click on the bottom left there, so let's change that to the girl with the cat, which doesn't mean that you'll actually get an image of a girl with a cat created. We'll stick to the original description of the man waiting for a bus, and you'll see that the quality of the photographs has changed because it's basing the photographs on a template that I selected. So one more thing, I'll pick a man on a beach looking out to sea, and let's see what they come up with this time. The pictures that were generated were not quite what I expected, in that they were all taken from behind the man. I thought there might be a bit more variety than that, but the variety is in the shots, with the drone shot and some slightly closer in shots, but the sea was the main thing in the picture. So let's move on to creating moving pictures, because this is a video presentation, and that's what they call an avatar in the AI world. So we'll create avatars. You've already seen some of my avatars, or actors as I tend to call them. You write them a script and they read it for you. I used some of PowerDirector's avatars last month when we were doing Tenerife, and just to give you an example, here's a Chinese girl from the template.
Hello. I am created by a computer from scratch using what my AI knows about the human form. Even I think that's pretty clever. I am not popular with everyone because AI uses a lot of energy to make it work.
It's a similar tool. You pick the avatar that you want to use. You can add other things like your own image at this point if you want, and then you just type the script that you want them to read into the box on the right. If you can hear the sound of a siren, it's because I'm actually in our flat at the moment and we live opposite a hospital, so from time to time an ambulance will depart and you'll hear it. Because I'm sitting in a little alcove in the hall that is a work in progress. This used to be cupboards and there was an air-blown heating system, all sorts of ducting in this space. I've taken it over now and I'm sitting in it doing videos, but eventually a bookcase, which has already arrived, flat packed, will be here, and I'll call this the library. So I used one of these avatars anyway in the Crab Island video from Tenerife last month, and I don't know if you spotted the error where I obviously mistyped and the word separating, I must have missed the S off the beginning if you listen.
This is a public swimming pool that is separated from the ocean by only a wall.
Now, I said before that the images, the avatars, are separate to the voices that you pick. So the voice that I used from the Crab Island video had an English-looking girl. I could transfer that voice onto the Chinese girl and she wouldn't mind at all.
Our videos from Tenerife are presented and produced by Brian Smart with a lot of help from artificial intelligence characters like myself.
Hello everyone. For those who find AI actors a bit creepy, I wondered if you would be more comfortable with a cartoon. You can still give me a name and assign me an English accent, or any other accent that you prefer. Brian has created me in his video editing software, which is called Power Director.
So I hope you understood a bit of how all that works. You'll be seeing more of these avatars in the future, particularly if I'm not here, I'm away somewhere, and I want to show videos that have actually been shot back here in Britain. I will probably use an avatar so that it's not too weird with me being in two places at once, although I have been told that that was interesting. When I used to do that from Spain, Bulgaria and the UK, and I appeared to be in all three places at once, people found that quite entertaining. I don't know, but I've got avatars to play with, so why not?
Well, I think we should replace Brian completely. Perhaps we can turn him into an avatar. It's just a thought.
I've never tried this yet, but I'm thinking of doing it. Apparently, you can send a still picture of yourself up and it then gets added to the ones on the screen in the software, and it will use you to create the video. Can't quite imagine that. So what I've got to do to get that created is probably sit up straight and not slouch here, look at the camera and stay still for a while so that I can clip a still image from this video and see what the software can do with it. I'm frozen like this now.
And here is my computer-generated avatar taken from my still photo. I didn't upload my voice yet, so I am using someone else's.
Now that really is creepy. Bring back the real Brian, please. In the meantime, I will carry on with the video clips. There have been a lot of storms across Britain recently, and we have had to deal with fences and trees coming down and damaging neighbours' property. This video shows Handyman Bob with a chainsaw removing some of the damaged trees.
I'm chopping down these trees since the storm rolled in. With my axe on my shoulder, the work begins. Branches falling round, roots all torn away. In a forest of memories, I'm here to stay. The wind's my old companion, whispering through the pine. Sawdust in the air as I tow the line. Oh baby, won't you wait for me on the other side? Darting through the timber, we'll find where we reside. In the heart of the forest, where shadows dance through, I'm a lumberjack with dreams fighting for the truth. With love in every cut, strength in every fall, in the trees of tomorrow, our names I will call. Oh baby, won't you wait for me on the other side? Darling,
to the timber we'll find where we reside.
While I'm back in the country, I'll do my own talking, I think, for now. Some of the places I've visited since we got back from Tenerife include Burnley, went to see how the bungalow was doing, and the bathroom. I believe this is called a stretch ceiling that's being developed, but I don't understand what that's going to be like, and I'm going to have to wait until it's finished. And talking of ceilings, there's lots of insulation stuffed in these ceilings, and the walls, and the roof, and everywhere you can think of. A couple of the places that I've been eating at since I got back to Britain, there's a reason that I occasionally go to this service area on the A55 in North Wales. It's because it's got an American diner, and I quite like the style of those places. There's not that many about really, and perhaps it's normal for an American diner to be on a main sort of trunk route in a service area. Perhaps that's how it is in America. Anyway, we went here with the grandchildren and we had our usual slap-up meal. Ruth and I visited another venue in North Wales at Bodfari. The Dinorben Arms is a place we've been going to over the years. Friends of ours, Alan and Anne, live nearby, and we met them there for a meal. One of the highlights was this fire that we sat in front of while we waited for them. Alan and I both share an interest in trains, and I've always been fascinated by shots like this of a train going across a viaduct, but here's a different take on that. There's obviously snow to be cleared. Never thought of using a model train to do it. My friend Steve found this. He found it on Facebook, I believe, and it's quite an original idea which caused a smile on a few people's faces. This was presumably taken on a phone in the upright portrait mode. Well, I refuse to have anything to do with such silliness, so I've stretched this so it fits properly on a widescreen. Some of you probably know I used to be in local radio back in the 60s, 70s and 80s. We used to use a tape format that you see here, and this is my Studer tape recorder. A guy called Willy Studer makes these, well, not himself personally, and also a semi-professional version of that called the Revox. Well, Willy Studer has brought out a new Revox, a version of the B77. It's only €13,500, and that's a semi-professional machine. If he brings out a full professional Studer, you may well need a mortgage to buy it. Going to finish these bits and pieces with a YouTube video by a guy called Paul Frost, and he's been acclaimed by quite a few people, including the Preservation Society for the Merseyrail Class 507, as being a person who really went the extra mile, I suppose you'd call it, to get video of the train being taken down to Derby. And I haven't seen many videos of this final stage where the trucks arrive in Derby and leave the 3 carriages there ready for Rail 200. So I'm going to leave you with a bit of Paul's video, and if you're interested in this train, I would suggest you look up Paul Frost on YouTube and watch the whole thing.
listened to the radio in a long forgotten time. There was a man called Brian Smart who loved for things to rhyme. The year was 1970, the show on Merseyside. The listeners chose the songs he played, they wrote from far and wide. With radio in its heyday and listeners by the million, with video not invented yet, there's Beatles and Bob Dylan. The year was 1980, the station Radio City. It was the middle of the night, less listeners, more's the pity. The year was 1990, computers taking over. Did video kill the radio star or make him turn composer? Then came the year 2000, a decade of great change, when Brian turned to property, his life to rearrange. With all these strings to Brian's bow, he had become quite torn, and there was born his video show that took the name Maythorn.
Going to take a brief look at one of the projects in the house I bought in 1989. I lived in it myself until 1996, and then I started to rent it out as a single house. By 2011, 2012, I was converting it into a house of multiple occupancy. There was a cloakroom in the hall which I completely cleared out and got a builder to put a stud wall across with the intention of entering from a different direction. At this point we took the soil pipe feed and stole it for an upstairs ensuite. The room that was adjacent to the old cloakroom was formerly a living room that I was converting into a bedroom, and the idea was there would be a step through into this new ensuite. It never happened. We still had a wall light and the plumbing to the sink from the original cloakroom, so we had something to work from. The bedroom floor level was higher than the cloakroom, so we were building a timber frame to bring the floor up to level. And throughout this, the bedroom itself is full of junk, which is actually building materials for the project. We started by plastering the first wall on the right that was originally the opening into the hall, and you may notice we are slightly under the stairs here, so we're going to have a height problem. If we're putting a toilet in here, which we are, we need to get our soil pipe feed back, so there's some more work to be done, and the old window to the side path is very drafty and it needs insulating. We stuffed the window with insulation and then further covered it up with a roll of thermal insulation, a foil backed one, as you can see. The existing light wiring is moved to a new position where there'll be a mirror, and you can see the bedroom is filled with materials ready to be brought in and worked with. The plumbing comes from the bathroom above, and it comes via a storeroom which is adjacent to the cloakroom, and we now need to isolate this and rework it because it's going under the new raised floor. As I said, we need to move the wiring, and for that it's under the first floor landing, so we need to go up the stairs and pull up some floorboards. Due to the change in regulations since 1989 when I bought the house, and before that when the original light switch was put in, it can't be inside the bathroom now, so we have to move the switch. In fact, what we'll do is we'll put a pull cord on it. The standard shower cubicle, which we brought from another property, doesn't fit under the stairs, so we have to erect a stud wall and then plumb this for the shower. The shower tray from the other property does fit, so we put that in. In fact, we worked the sizes of the cubicle to it. By working from the landing above, we've moved the wiring for the new ceiling light. We put insulation in the floor. We put insulation everywhere. And the plumbing in the adjacent room has been connected with isolators so we can bring it through. We've split the wiring while we had it all open, and we've given a feed to a new mirror light that we're going to put in. We've added a towel radiator alongside the shower cubicle to keep the place warm and dry towels, of course, and it's now time to board out the new floor level and fit the shower mixer. The new mirror has got buttons that change the light temperature, and also one of them is to demist it, as our handyman Bob has demonstrated. He then boards the shower out with PVC panelling and puts the plumbing into the new sink position. There's work going on outside the property when the weather allows to move the drainage and to reinstate the toilet, and the sink waste is rerouted because the sink is in a different position. We've already bought the sink with its floor stand, that's ready to go in. The soil pipe from the ensuite upstairs needs a new route out, which we give it, and then we start to tile the floor, and the outside work continues, weather permitting. The fireplace is another cold zone that we are filling with insulation, and then we'll plaster over it and pull the wire for the heater through from an existing fuse spur higher up the wall. Of course, we're using up the materials now, so the room is getting clearer. I went to IKEA and picked up a kitchen shelf, thought this might be useful. The existing ventilation has a new face installed on it, and the wall switch has been replaced by a pull switch for regulation purposes. Entering the room, you now get the feeling of the integrated ensuite with equal floor levels, and now it just needs a door. And the final touch, a new oak fire door, will complete this room.
Mr. Brian's bow, he had become quite torn, and there was born his video show that took the name